It's a typical summer morning. Inside a small apartment, our main character, Minjin, is still asleep. Looks like he stayed up till late gaming, his computer's still running, but his peace doesn't last long. His phone alarm blares, loud and obnoxious, snapping him awake. Like most of us, he groans, reaches over, and shuts it off. Since he has school, he slowly drags himself out of bed. In the kitchen, he sees a note from his mom stuck on the fridge. She's already left for work, and reminds him to take care of himself. After reading it, he throws on his school uniform and leaves the dim apartment. As he steps outside, he looks across the street at a tall, fancy apartment building. It's clean, expensive looking, the kind of place rich kids live in. Meanwhile, he's stuck in a beat-up neighborhood. Still, he knows complaining won't change anything, so he heads to school, Saigon High School. Unfortunately, school isn't much better. Bullies mess with him just for fun. While they laugh, Minjin is left on the ground. The ringleader is Park Seong-bin, 18 years old, second year, class 3. He loves mocking Minjin every chance he gets, but this time a voice cuts in. A girl surrounded by her group of friends steps up. She's clearly not impressed by Seong-bin's behavior. She calls him out for always picking on people who can't fight back. Her name is Han Yen, also 18. After she speaks up, Seong-bin suddenly shifts his tone and pretends he and Minjin are actually friends, just playing around. Like it's all harmless fun, but Yena doesn't buy it. She still thinks he's acting like a clown in the middle of the hallway and dragging the school's image down. Ina and Minjin have known each other for years, same middle school, same high school, same story with Songbin and Minjin too. Ina lives in that luxury high-rise Minjin always stares at. Her life's on a completely different level. Her mom's a hospital director, her dad, stable, well-paid. She's grown up surrounded by comfort. She's practically a celebrity. Polished selfies, perfect lifestyle, tons of followers. But she's more than just looks. She's smart, always top of the class. There's even talk that she might move to the US next year to study abroad. To most people, she seems like someone who has it all. But if there's one thing she really can't stand, it's weak, broke guys. And unfortunately, Minjin checks both boxes. Now let's rewind a bit back to where this started. Middle school, 8th grade. That's when Minjin first tried to talk to her. He finally worked up the courage. But when he spoke, Ina's reaction hit hard. Her voice was sharp, annoyed. She looked at him like he was something stuck to her shoe. To her, Minjin was just this smelly, awkward kid who followed her around too much. They lived in the same direction, but that didn't mean anything to her. She straight up told him to walk a different way, just so she wouldn't have to smell him. That's when it finally clicked for Minjin. She hated him. No sugarcoating it. No, maybe she's just having a bad day. She genuinely despised him. And that scent she always had. That clean, expensive smell. To Minjin it smelled like money. There was always something about her. Scent, clean, expensive. It reminded Minjin of money. The kind of life he'd never get close to. Most people would move on after getting humiliated like he did after being called disgusting to their face. But not Minjin. His feelings never changed. Even when Ina insulted him in front of others, tore into him with every word, he still sat next to her whenever he could. Every year, same school, same class, and the same hopeless crush. It didn't matter how cruel she was, Minjin stayed stuck on her like some glitch he couldn't fix. Eventually he started to question himself. Maybe something was wrong with him who keeps chasing someone that treats him like garbage. But that was just his reality. Bullied by Song, insulted by Ina day in day out, it was all just normal for Minjin. Later he meets up with his two friends. They're hanging out like usual, chatting about anime and games, the only world where they feel like they belong. The bigger guys, buzzing with excitement over a new series, while the thinner one, Ba Sang-ho, hasn't been watching much lately. Minjin, on the other hand, barely says a word. He just listens quietly, off to the side, like a background NPC. Let's take a moment to meet these two. The skinny guy, that's Ba Sang-ho, 18, same school, different class. The big one, Minjin, also 18. They're the only people at school Minjin feels somewhat connected to. They like the same stuff, think the same way. The big difference, they aren't the ones getting shoved into lockers. And yeah, Minjin's jealous. He can't help but wonder how come they get to live peacefully. Why is he the only one cursed with all the bad luck? His train of thought gets cut off when they ask him if he wants to go to a Luminina concert. They've got an extra ticket and offer to grab it for him. The idol on screen is beautiful, flawless. The kind of girl most teenage guys would be head over heels for. But Minjin, he doesn't care anymore. That whole world of idols, crushes, dreams, it all feels fake to him now. His friends say he's missing out, and now that they're really looking at him, they realize something's off. He looks pale, drained, like a zombie pretending to be human. They joke about it as they head out, but in class Minjin's just counting the seconds. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be anywhere near this routine. The same hallways, the same faces, the same pain. That's when he overhears Songbin and his crew talking. They're cracking up over some guy who didn't back down when they tried to intimidate him. Apparently, he just stared back, totally unfazed. The guy looked strong. But of course, Songbin brags that he could have taken him down no problem. Then they shift topics, talking trash about the same guy, saying he came from North Korea and ran away, leaving his parents behind. They mock him like it's funny, like trauma is entertainment, but then the guy they're joking about walks in. Hackle, he hears everything, and he's not smiling. Hackle stares straight at Songbin, cold, serious. Just one look and the laughter dies. Songbin, trying to act tough, grabs Hackle by the collar, but Hackle doesn't move, doesn't blink. He just tells him, straight up, don't talk big unless you're ready to pay for it. The tension is thick. Songbin's pride won't let go, but one of his lackeys tugs at his arm, telling him to back off. Eventually Songbin lets go, but not without spitting out a threat. Through all of this, Minjin sits there, distant, disconnected. It's just more chaos and a life full of it. He's tired. He's so tired of this school, these people, this routine. As the day ends, he walks home with heavy footsteps and heavier thoughts. For the first time, he starts thinking seriously about dropping out. Not just a passing thought, but a real decision. He's done no more pretending, no more trying. He's convinced it's the only way out of this nightmare, but life doesn't let him walk away that easy. On his way home, he runs into Songbin and his gang again. This time, they're weirdly cheerful to see him, too cheerful. Songbin says he wants cigarettes, but since they're underage, he tells Minjin to ask the woman nearby to buy them. But Minjin knows the truth. This isn't about cigarettes. It never is. It's just another trap, another game. But this time, Minjin doesn't play along. He says nothing, doesn't argue, just keeps walking. That silence, that makes Songbin snap at. Seconds, they're dragging him into an old construction site. The beatings start. Minjin hits the ground. Songbin's holding a brick, and then it gets worse, over and over. The brick slams down. Minjin's head ringing, vision blurring. They think this is funny. They think it's just another day. They think this beating will finally break him. That after today, Minjin will finally fall in line, obey them, fear them, follow orders. But Minjin's past his breaking point. With barely enough strength to lift his head, he looks up at Song. His voice is weak, shaky. Just finish it already. He's done. Living feels heavier than dying, and that only makes Songbin angrier. He stomps on Minjin one last time hard, and before he leaves, he leans in with a twisted smirk. If you ever try to end your life and blame us in a note, I'll pay your mom a visit. Then they vanish, leaving Minjin broken in the dirt. The construction site is cold, empty, quiet. Minjin stays there, barely able to move, watching as the sky begins to lighten. Dawn creeps in slowly, like the world just keeps going whether he wants it to or not, and he hates that. He hates that tomorrow is still coming. He hates that the world refuses to stop, so he makes a choice. If the world won't end, then he will. He sets his eyes on the tall, expensive apartment building across town, the same one he's always envied from afar. He's going to the top dot, and he doesn't plan to come back down with that. Minjin drags himself to his feet and starts walking. But just when he reaches the building's entrance, he runs into her. Enna, the one girl who probably hates him more than the bullies do. That moment she sees him, her face twists in annoyance. What are you doing here? This isn't your place. Then her eyes narrow. She takes in the bruises, the blood. You're not here to deliver something, are you? Don't tell me you came here to steal. Her words are sharp, cruel, but that's exactly why Minjin came here, because he didn't want to keep going. Enna doesn't stop. She starts grilling him, asking who hurt him this time. She's not worried, she's mad. Mad that he never stands up for himself. You always take it, she snaps, like a mutt that doesn't know how to bite back. But Minjin doesn't answer. He just turns around and walks away. Enna watches him go. Annoyed that he's ignoring her now, she crosses her arms, scoffs, and mutters that she finished this conversation tomorrow. Minjun doesn't look back. Later that night, he finally makes it back home. His apartment is dark, cluttered, and silent to drown it all out. He flips on his computer, slips on his headphones, and escapes back into the only world where he feels like he has control a game, even if just for a while. Asterisk, as Minjin sits back, thinking about everything that just happened, it hits him Enna wasn't wrong. He really has been pathetic. Maybe he deserved all those harsh words after all. That's when a decision settles in his mind. He won't go back to school. Not tomorrow. Not ever. Instead, he'll start looking for a job and help his mom with the bills. Night falls, but Minjin remains glued to a screen, deeply focused on his FPS game. Wave after wave of zombies fall to his virtual gunfire. Suddenly, his friends in the live chat announce they're logging off. It catches him off guard. It's only 10 p.m. There's plenty of time left to play. Then they remind him about the big news spreading around town. Something serious is happening outside. That's when Minjin hears strange noises just beyond his apartment door. Curious and a little uneasy, he gets up and moves toward it. Someone begins pounding on the door, hard and fast. Before opening, Minjin peers through the peephole. It's a neighbor from upstairs. His voice is shaky, nervous, almost desperate. Minjin thinks the guy might be drunk again, so he isn't worried. But he's wrong. This isn't just a drunk neighbor anymore. The man looks off, not fully human. Against his better judgment, Minjin opens the door, But the first thing that hits him is the blood splattered everywhere. A deep, ugly wound slashes across the man's stomach. Mingyin's first thought, maybe he's seriously hurt and needs an ambulance. Then, without warning, the man screams a horrible, inhuman sound and lunges at Minjin. They fall together, the man pinning Minjin beneath him. Realizing the guy's lost his mind, Minjin fights back, kicking hard until he breaks free. He scrambles up, slams the door shut, and locks it tight. His heart races, breaths come quick and shallow, and his legs tremble uncontrollably. This wasn't a normal neighbor anymore. Frantically, Minjin grabs his phone and tries to call the police, but the call won't connect instead. His screen fills with emergency alerts. Reports of strange attacks are spreading throughout Seoul and beyond. The message is clear: everyone must stay indoors and stay safe. Suddenly, Minjin hears shouting and commotion coming from just outside his basement apartment. He cautiously cracks open the window to get a better look. What he sees feels like a nightmare come to life, people fighting violently in the streets below. And there's that same neighbor again, still roaming around, causing chaos. A wave of fear crashes over Minjin. He quickly tries calling his mom, but there's still no signal. As darkness falls, Minjin shuts off the lights and curls up under a blanket in the corner of his room. He keeps trying to connect to any network, but nothing responds. No signal, no updates. Desperate for answers, he turns on the TV. The news anchor reports a string of brutal attacks by unidentified suspects across the country. Officials call it random terrorism, claiming they're investigating but have no solid leads yet. The anchor urges everyone to stay indoors, lock all doors and windows, and not let anyone in. The next update hits. Busan has been struck as well. Similar violent outbreaks are spreading beyond Seoul, Busan, and Incheon, reaching smaller towns too. Police and military forces are being deployed, but the situation seems to be slipping out of control. Minjun feels completely overwhelmed. One frightening report after another blares through the speakers, leaving him frozen in place, trapped in what feels like a nightmare he can't escape. From everything he's heard, it sounds like the world is being overrun by something straight out of a zombie game or horror movie. He needs answers, but staying trapped in his dark apartment won't provide them. Determined, Minjun decides to check the building's front door to make sure it's securely locked before stepping out. He peers through the peephole. The hallway appears empty. Carefully, he opens the door and steps into the hallway, making his way up the stairs toward the ground floor. The silence around him feels eerie. When Minjun reaches the main entrance, he cautiously peers outside and spots a zombie aimlessly wandering down the street. Heart pounding, he quickly shuts the door and locks every bolt. He considers checking upstairs to see if anyone else might still be alive, but the building is completely quiet. It doesn't seem worth the risk right now. Instead, he decides to wait until morning, hoping the police or military will arrive to help. Turning the TV back on, he waits for any updates. Before the news can return, the broadcast suddenly cuts out. With nothing else to do, Minjun lies down, attempting to sleep. But with everything happening, rest doesn't come easy. What weighs on him most is this strange feeling inside. Just a day ago, life felt pointless, the world unbearably cruel. At one point, he even wished everything would collapse. Now it seems that wish has come true, but it hasn't made things any better. Now, all that matters is survival. It's clear nothing has really changed. Life was harsh before, and it still is. All this zombie chaos, it doesn't frighten him anymore. Truthfully, he's already been as low as anyone can be. A warning flashes across his mind. Outside, the streets are a chaotic mess, abandoned cars littered everywhere, and zombies roaming aimlessly. Minjun finally, who opens the front door just a crack to take a look. Something feels wrong. The air is thick, heavy with the sharp metallic scent of blood. It's so overpowering that he slams the door shut and double locks it. Going out without a plan would be suicide. Heading to the kitchen, he checks his supplies. Fortunately, he has enough to last a while for packs of ramen, 6 cup noodles, some instant rice, and a bag of uncooked rice. That should keep him fed for about 2 weeks. He has 3 bottles of water, and luckily, the tap still runs. Even the gas is still on if he carefully manages everything. He could stay put for a month. That ought to buy enough time for help to arrive.